Okay, so let's just jump right into this. Imagine a lost manuscript, right? A totally forgotten work by a literary giant, and it just surfaces after almost 100 years. And its title alone is a poem, The Geometry of Silence. I mean, what does that even mean?
So, this is what we're diving into today, a work that's supposedly written by the incredible Spanish poet Federico García Lorca. They say it was found in some old farmhouse cellar back in 2023, and it's strange. It's a fragmented collection of 3 stories, and they all circle around this one single haunting idea.
And the manuscript kicks off with this line. Right away, it sets this mysterious, almost symbolic tone. You know it's not going to be about what's there, but what isn't. Not the sound, but the silence. This is our ticket into a world where absence is a real, physical, measurable thing.
Okay, so book 1 is called The Cartographer's Dream, and it drops us into this village where things aren't just going missing. The very spaces between things are vanishing. And this cartographer shows up, but get this, he's not there to map the town. He's there to map its disappearances.
And the way things disappear, it's just so haunting. It's deeply personal, almost metaphysical. It's not that a rib vanishes. No, it's the gap, the space where a loved one used to rest his head. That's what's gone.
And this unsettling logic just keeps going. The chairs aren't stolen or broken. They just stop existing. They leave these perfect, empty rectangles in the dust. And the family? They actually keep pouring wine into the empty air where the glasses used to be.
The vanishing just gets worse and worse, until even the most sacred things start to lose their substance. The altar, the very heart of faith in this village, is literally forgetting itself. It's becoming a ghost of what it used to be.
And this all builds to the central idea of the first book, which comes from the cartographer himself. He basically argues that our identity, who we are, isn't defined by the things we have, but by what we've lost. Our losses are what give us our shape. And that is his whole mission. As profound and heartbreaking as it is, he knows he can't save the village. But what he can do is give its disappearance some meaning. He's making sure that when everything is finally gone, a record of its shape will be left behind, a map of the forgetting.
So this theme keeps building in the second book. Now we shift from mapping absence to the act of creation itself. And here we meet a weaver named Inez, who has let's just say, a very complicated relationship with finishing her work.
I mean, this is her whole conflict. For Inez, an unfinished piece of art is alive, it's buzzing with infinite possibilities. But the second she ties that final knot, it becomes just one, single, fixed thing. To her, it's a corpse, and she just can't bring herself to be a murderer of her own creations.
She actually teaches this idea to her apprentice. For them, threading is completion. It's a small death. But unthreading, taking a piece apart, that's an act of resurrection. That's bringing it back to pure potential. I mean, what a radical way to look at making art. But then the story takes a turn. A powerful duke forces her to make this huge tapestry celebrating his family's glorious history. The problem is, Inez can't weave a lie, so instead she weaves the hidden truth, the suffering of all the women who are erased from history by the duke's powerful male ancestors. And here comes the twist, and it is an absolute stunner. When the duke sees the horrifying truth she's woven, he isn't angry. He's relieved. It's like he's seeing the ugly foundation of his own power for the first time, and he tells her to complete the real story, not the glorious lie. And for Inez, this is a total game changer. She realizes that by finishing the work, she doesn't kill it at all. She gives it life. She allows its truth to be born into the world, to be seen, to maybe even change things. Completion isn't an end, it's a beginning. All right, so the final section of the manuscript shifts gears again. It becomes raw, urgent. The stakes aren't just philosophical anymore. Now, they're political. This is a story about the sheer power of being a witness in a world that's built on erasure. We're following this nameless narrator living in a totalitarian city. After his lover, who's a poet, is taken by the state, he starts to write. Not poetry, though. He writes testimony. It's the only thing he has left, his final act of defiance against a regime that just makes people vanish. So this is how the state views art. The narrator's interrogator is reading his lover's beautiful poems about oranges, and he just dismisses them as a crime, as filth. For this regime, any metaphor, anything that suggests a reality beyond their total control is a threat. But the narrator, he remembers something a professor once taught him, and it's the complete opposite. That metaphor is resistance. It's a secret language of freedom. It's sedition, just disguised as a beautiful image. It's a way of imagining a different world, which, to a tyrant, is the most dangerous act of all.
And that brings us to the end of this incredible manuscript, which, fittingly, is itself kind of an unfinished story. It leaves us with the ultimate power, and yeah, the ultimate cost of bearing witness.
And this is so crucial. Even after the narrator is captured, the act of witness doesn't stop. His story just becomes part of a much larger story, scratched into the prison walls by countless other people. It becomes a permanent, living archive of the disappeared.
These are some of the last words we read, scratched into a cell wall. And really, it's the manuscript's final defiant argument that even when our bodies are destroyed, what we create, our art, our testimony, our truth, it persists. That's how we survive.
And so the manuscript leaves us right here with this one question. Now, if this really is a genuine work by Lorca, it's a question he was wrestling with as his own world was vanishing around him. And the text seems to suggest an answer. What remains is the shape of the absence, the story of the loss, the geometry of the silence itself.